good evening, and welcome to this edition of A Walk Down Memory Lane. I'm your host, Harold Basin. Joining me, my co-host, Dennis Brown. We are joined by two former PHC players in Derek Douglas and Brian Bullock Anderson. We do have Jack Castle that we are waiting on. But, gentlemen, first of all, thank you very much for joining us this evening. And I want this to be as much fun as you could possibly have with it, remembering those days when you guys used to beat up on Dennis.
Yeah, I mean that was the easy job. What you say, Wicked?
It weren't so easy.
It went both ways, man.
Yeah, we all just kick one another.
You kicked our backsides and we kicked your backside.
Yeah, we all used to kick up one another.
We used to kick each other.
But we did want to kind of just go down the memory lane of when you guys were in the CONCACAF tournament. What was it? Club Championships? That's what they call it now. Yeah.
Yes.
So
it was what it was, the champions against the champions there
Yes,
of the league.
Yeah. They just renamed it, updated it to Club Championships. So one of the first questions I want to ask is, how much of the training that you guys were doing in comparison to getting ready for a local game did it change to get ready for the kind of unknowns, because you were meeting opposition that you'd never probably seen before?
The only thing I can say, if Brian could back me up in that, I think we never even did no extra training. We only did our regular 2 days a week. The only time if we did do a little extra would probably be a week or maybe 2 weeks just over the weekend before we guys travel. A couple of little set plays, and that's probably about it. And then when we did get out there, I mean, we normally used to get out there about 4 or 5 days before the game, Brian?
Yeah, just about something like that.
Yeah, and then we just did our normal thing, man. Like I said, normal training. Ali just took us to warm us up, to get us ready, and then Sweet Life, Alfie Eve, and Brother Nibs, Dombrowski, we call him. He just did all the tactic works. So that's all we guys done. It was just basics. It was just regular. We never did no extra hard training or anything like that.
Well, my view on that is, when you got Eddie Wilson as your trainer, that's hard training, period.
Right.
I know it regular.
No. Yeah, that's hard training, period. Right?
Yeah, true.
Nothing stops with him.
Yeah. Dennis?
And that was one of my questions, man, because I, like I told you guys earlier, like PHC was the team that really made me get. I thought I was fit, and one season PHC ran us, and PHC was the team that really made me. One day Nova saw him and said, in order for us to beat PHC, we're going to have to be fitter than PHC or just as fit. So that really inspired me to get in tip top condition. So what was it like to be training under Ali Wilson? Because that was one of my questions. Because you guys are fit. So give us some sort of examples of some of the type of training you guys did under Ali Wilson, like your fitness was. Anybody?
You get it, Brian.
Well, he was real keen on physical strength, like your inner core. So we used to go to they had a gym out Spanish Point out there that we guys used to frequently visit, and he used to put us through our paces as far as strengthening. And then the running part, we also had Cal Deal with us,
Right.
and Cal Simon. So with Cal Deal, that running part, Ellie Wilson is more of the doing the physical as far as the stretches and the sit-ups and all that. More of the physical and the strengthening coach, Ellie. And he was real keen on that because he liked to keep himself in shape.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I can recall one time I was talking to, I think it was Craig Smith. Yeah, Mr. Coach?
Yeah.
And he used to he said to me one time that when you guys were playing post PAC, he used to watch you guys before the game warming up, and that used to sort of deter me because you guys are running hard before the game. You know what I mean? But Ellie was pure physical and strength and coach, and that was his main thing.
Mm.
Because
Yeah,
on that nail,
absolutely.
because on that, before nails goes, the first time I saw one of those warm ups, like the sit ups, the push ups, I'm saying, what the? But you know what I mean? And that encouraged you guys to have good starts in games. Like,
Right.
you know what I mean? Look, you know, looking back, and I'm saying, wow.
Because his
Yeah.
philosophy was to open our lungs so our lungs could, by the time you guys are catching your second meal, we're already going.
Yes, yes,
You know what I mean? So
yes.
before the game, he would really push us to get our lungs. Oh, here he is.
Hey, he made it?
Hey,
Yeah.
hey, hey.
Hey, Mr.
Jeez,
Castle.
I,
jeez.
t- I tell you,
What's
he's
up,
out there
Bill?
feeding the dogs, man.
Yeah,
He's
see,
just
yeah,
had to
yeah.
get the dog settled and then he comes in.
Hey, 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 hey. You know how it is. What's up, guys?
You all right?
Everything's good.
Good,
What's
So
up?
good.
Nails, what was it like for you to be training under Ali Wilson? What was the difference coming from Wolves and then going to PhD? What was the difference in work ethic like? What was the difference?
Um, it was just a slight change because why Ali Wilson actually came from Wolves. Actually was Wolves striker. And Ali Wilson, Dasha, my brother, Vincent Miners, goalkeeper. Also the other goalkeeper was Dennis Trott. Then we had Cecil Henriksen, Cecil Lee, um, Terry Grant,
Potter?
Eddie.
Kevin Trott. These guys, then I had my uncle, Johnny Boyles, he was the coach. And we was doing things like up Ocean View. If you know Ocean View, the Earl 2, now it's called number 5. We used to do shuttles uphill.
Mm.
It's like Barnes Corner. Sorry, it's like Scar Hill. We used to do
Mm.
shuttles up Scar Hill. Then we used to carry one another up Scar Hill. So the time I even got to PhD, I was excited really because I was saying, "Shocks, man! This is just a little step higher." Because once we went to the beach, hitting the soft sand, I never did that. Everything was hard, so nothing gave. But when you're dealing with the beach, Majaro, that was hard training,
Mm.
and actually I was actually used to it, man. It was different, a different tactic, meaning that it actually strengthened your limbs and all that, there, your ankles, your knees, you know what I mean, and it really did me justice, man. Tell you the fact truth, I really enjoyed playing underneath Ali Wilson as a trainer. He was
Mm.
he was he was a good guy.
Yeah. I'm going to quickly ask Jack a question. First of all, welcome, Jack. Um,
Oh,
before you guys would get to Ellie, what was your regime? Because you knew if you were starting training at a certain date, you weren't going no halfway in. You had to get there and be ready for that burnout. So, what were some of the things you were doing in quote unquote preseason to get ready for preseason?
so I remember, like, for we guys, because we were such a tight knit unit, we guys would, like, go up purpose. It was always like the backyard kicks, but we will always do our homework, what we called homework. So you can find us probably heading up Horseshoe Bay and just jogging the course, you know, getting yourself ready. But from the physical fitness side, Ellie was definitely special. You know, he was definitely special. So, I could remember, like, doing honey games and you know um Sundays being up the beach. We would start training in, like, right since June. We needed to get ready. Season finished. Season finished. well, a lot of the time for us, Dennis, a lot of the time for us, Dennis, we was in the cup run. The season finished off like in April.
Yep. Yep.
So you two, and
Both of us. Yep.
season finished. Yeah, season finished in April, and you had May off, and you had most of June. But if you didn't kick in June, then it came to July, the valley. Oh my God, you needed to be in some shape.
Yeah, and I can add a little on that there also, like say during the summer or on a pre-training, like Jack said, man, the guys was a very close unit. We used to be on our push bikes and we used to paddle, like say from the west end to the east end together. Just hey, just going out on a paddle ride.
Mm.
You know what I mean? As a unit, just hey, just sticking together, and that's what we call harmony. Harmony, because once we hit the field, we already got that. Everybody's together already. We already know what one another does, what one another likes. You know, so when it came to that pre-training, shucks, man, we guys are challenging one another just to see if we did something. You know what I mean? Did a little homework before this preseason, or sorry, before this pre-training comes. Once we hit Wild Man Eddie Wilson, we was actually ready, man, because when that first day comes, look, guys, cup match, it's training. Hey, we was ready. we was excited to go see the man, and just hey, try us out just to see what we got. And him, oh man, he make sure he calls you out. Come on, and he used to call out guys, man. I want you to get up there. Let's go. So that's the best part about it. Nobody had no breaks and no favorites. You know what I mean? That was
Yeah,
good.
you talk about harmony, but everybody has a different personality. So how did that kind of blend in? I mean, you could recall Buller's a guy when he feels he just gets the job done, goes about his job quietly. Him and Frank just goes run, does what they have to do, and all that. And then you have other guys who are very vocal. So how did that all blend in together?
I think
Um,
I think everybody just doing their job. Everybody had a job to do,
Hmm.
and being in good shape, you can do the best job that you can, being in good shape. But if you're not in good physical shape, you can't bring out your best. But we just didn't wait till uh, preseason because Dennis can testify that back then the ball was rolling on each field all around the island.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
a kick was going on. You know what I mean? It's like somebody Neil said, he was doing your push fight, you was having a kick. You was in some sort of condition. It's not like you were starting from zero
right.
going into it. You know what I mean? So
Mhm.
you know, but Neil's mentioned about Kilimanjaro. Now I had mentioned to Niels or to someone about me being the slowest player in the league. So
That sounds about right, Earl.
well,
yeah,
well, you was
uh,
slow.
Bronny, but the thing was right. Remember that saying: you can't move fast,
Fast, move early.
move early.
That's it. That's it.
That was me.
Very smart player, though. Very smart player. But just looking at you guys midfield, man. Um, like you said, everybody had a job to do. Um, Ranko, here's the like the enforcer, like
Yes,
Ranko,
it was
The
Ranko,
smallest of the group.
the smallest of the
the
crew, and
smallest. Yes, yes, it
Ranko
was.
didn't care who you are, and he'll talk crap to you all day. You know what I
Oh,
mean? But and Bola and Frank were like the hey, you know what I mean? Like the very skillful
mm,
two guys in the middle of the park. But all of you had like incredible amount of energy, man, which was crazy, man. You know what I
Right.
mean? But it was always a challenge playing against you guys. You know what I mean? Especially the three in the middle of the park, and then the three up front: Kenny, Kevin, and Sammy. Like it was. You know what I mean? Like if you didn't get your rest Saturday night, you're in trouble on the Sunday afternoon against you guys. You know what I mean? But it was always a beautiful challenge. Like to play against you guys. And and I, going to my grave, I always treasure those days because, like, I was talking to Nails a couple of weeks ago up to college, and one of the things we said was that we'll kick the pants right off you. You know what I mean? But and Nails, what did he say? Because Nails was dirty as peps.
Oh, Wolves, I mean, I thought I was one of the cleanest guys out there, man.
Nails was dirty as
No,
peps.
man, but I was clean. Dennis, be honest.
It was a dirty clean, a clean dirty. You know what I mean? But after the game, we shake hands. We go upstairs, drink water, whatever else is up there. You know what I mean? But and that's how it was, man. The guys back then, everybody's cool today. You know what I mean? But we'll kick the crap out of each other. But after the game, you know what I mean?
We'll drink, sit down, talk, eat
Yep.
food,
Yep.
and just reminisce about the game, man.
Yeah.
And even it's the same way. Even the referees will even come in laughing.
Yeah.
Nobody doesn't go the separate way.
That's one of the things
everybody
I
kept
like.
together.
I liked
We
about
move
PNC
on
because
to
you guys.
another topic.
Yeah, Buller.
Dennis can't. I know you probably don't remember this, Dennis, but it's a game up from up Somerset, and you guys were defending the bleachers, right? And it's a corner against PAC, and the ball had come across, and my keeper had committed himself, so I went in the goal to defend the goal, and you was probably around about 3 or 4 feet away from me, and you couldn't get the ball in because the ball was sort of chest height between us,
Right.
and we was knocking it back and forward to each other. Right?
You serious?
Yeah, I remember that clearly.
Oh,
Until I finally cleared the ball, right? We just looked at each other and just laughed. And then,
You guys out there chest pass.
whoa! I can't even remember that.
I remember that one.
Whoa! Yeah, we have some good memories, man.
Yeah.
Even the best, well, I wouldn't say the best. One of the most exciting games was the Dudley final. Were you playing in that one where we drew 3-3, the penalties at the National Stadium, and then we had to flip a coin
Going to us.
on the coin toss. I believe that was like 81, something like that. We actually had you 3-1 with like 10 minutes ago. PHC came back 3-3. Then it went into penalty kicks, and then that's before the National Stadium didn't have lights, and then people. I'm not sure what would be. I think it was like 3-3 in the penalty kicks. Then it got too dark, and then they had to abandon it and stuff.
Shot, you was about what? About 15 then, isn't it?
No, it's like 17. that was like 1981, 82 or something like that.
Yeah, you was about 14, man.
But that was probably one of my most exciting summers at PHC. I remember Rango playing. Herman James, I don't think Nails was at PHC.
No, I wasn't there yet.
No.
Okay.
I wasn't there.
So Nails, tell me.
One
Why-
second, Dennis. Let's take a quick commercial break,
Okay.
and when we come back, you can ask the
Okay.
question. We'll be right back.
In preparation for the island's first Youth Climate Summit, the Bermuda Underwater Exploration Institute has partnered with CITV to screen Youth Unstoppable, the only feature documentary to cover the rise of the youth climate movement from the youth perspective. Now the most important voice in the climate debate. The movie will be followed by a live chat with the director, herself a youth activist. Bermuda is the only country in the world premiering Youth Unstoppable on television as part of its global launch. Tune in to CITV this Saturday at 7 p.m.
My inspiration to write this book has to do with empowering. I want people to understand what it looks like when you are in a position when you don't have the tools around you. If you know me or don't know me, the game, the beautiful game of football, soccer, is and always was a way out. Still fearful on what to do, what would happen if I say something.
What can we do in this book to incorporate tools to help specifically our group of young people in Bermuda?
Could you imagine doing a read with little people and breaking everything down for them and having them to have a voice and having conversation pieces, if it's chapter by chapter.
Welcome back. Dennis?
Okay, Nils, I always wondered over the years because Dasher left Wolves to go Cougars.
Yeah.
Why PHC?
Well, I had
You were following
when I did made my mind up.
or you were following a female?
Actually, that was not in that line as yet
Okay.
because my main thing was again, it was dealing with physical training.
Okay.
I went like I said, when I made up my mind, I went 3 places. I went North Village first. I just went just to look. That's all I done, just to look, just to see how they train and so on. And then I went up to Rangers, just to see how they train and all that. Then I went to see PHC, just to see how they train. And then I said, that's the one right there I wanted. I just like, again, which I always thought I was a clean player, I like the physical part of it. Just to keep in shape. So that's really why I actually picked PHC.
You wanted to be the champions as well.
made it perfect too. Didn't actually know it was going to turn out like that, but perfect. it was just perfect. The only guys didn't know nobody really. Then, yeah, didn't know anybody.
Right.
The only person was just Ellie from when I was juniors playing for Wolves. He was the striker for Wolves, you know, and he just took that training, I guess, up PHC, man, and I just loved it. Yeah, and that's why I really picked PHC.
Well, are you saying something?
Yeah, I saying I played with Dashaw Cougars.
Yes,
Oh, right.
yes.
Yeah, Dashaw was the type of player you beat him once, it's not over.
That's right.
It's coming back for you.
That's why I first met Dasher when we played Cougars out Iraq, and usually Courage Bell used to get the best out of most fullbacks.
Right.
But this night here, I'm saying, who the ask that black guy over there? And Dasher matched Courage stride for stride. Toughness for toughness. Dasher wasn't the biggest guys, but Dasher was one of the toughest guys when he come up against. You know what I mean? And that's where I really got to know Dasher, and then eventually got in the squad and all that. But yeah, Dasher was a tough cookie, boy. You know what I mean? And Nails tough cookie this day and week. You know what I mean? And a question to you guys. You talked about training under Ali Wilson. How was it playing under Neil's Lewis for both of you?
Well, Jack's in. Let me bring Jack in before he drops out again. Jack, can you answer that? Did you hear the question, Jack?
Like his dog beating his mic, man.
Something's going on. That's what it sounds like, get it?
Dog beating his mic.
Can you hear us, Jack?
He must be on one of those door cookie mics, you know?
All right, I'll let you can answer that.
What was it like playing on the Nips? He was a taskmaster. I want both of you as it is.
Yeah, Brian.
He had a lot to offer, and a lot for us to learn, because all the experience that he had, he tried to instill it in us. So all we did was absorb everything that he put on the table for us to do. And but then we used to ask the other players what type of player Niels was himself. And they used to tell us Niels was a nuisance. right? But a skillful loser who used to do things like sit on the bowl while the game's going on, like, you know what I mean, all that type of stuff. But the tactics that he used, you guys, you know, some players don't even follow the tactics of the coach. They want to do their own thing.
Mm.
If you only do those type of things, then the coach's tactics aren't working. But majority of the time, Neil's tactics used to work. So we used to pay close attention to him and as we came to instructions.
Yeah, we would say his one of those coaches. We would say no nonsense. You know what I mean? He analyzes his players. He sees the weaknesses of a player and the strength of a player, and he would tell you 101. He won't bring it out amongst everybody unless you really get his backside. But he will have a 101 on you, and he will tell you what he wants you to do, what he don't want you to do. You know, that's why you're in the team. He actually lets you know. So his actually a tactic coach, man. If you really look at it, because he had guys doing zones. Okay, say right now today, Liverpool. See the way how Liverpool defends.
There you go.
Liverpool fans are zone. Liverpool don't defend man on man. They defend a zone, and that's what Neil's had PAT doing. Zone marking. You know what I mean? Anybody comes to that zone, regardless who that player is, that's your zone. So you do your job. Don't go over and do Jack's job. Don't go do Buller's job. Don't go do Senna's job. Don't go do Kenneth's job. Don't do Mike's job. Do your job, and if you do your job, I'm happy. And that's one thing about him, and he'll tell you that. You know, he's a very good tactic coach.
Jack, we're talking about Neil.
One sec. Let me see if you can hear us now. Can you hear us, Jack?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah.
When you talk about Neil,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Neil,
on coaching.
Neil was definitely special. Out of probably the whole team in that era, I think I probably served the longest on it because I went right from Denton to the first two. So I played with like Dave Force, Carol White, and Jimmy Tanker, and you know Parsons. I played with some of the guys that they hired. Liam Mock, he was successful. This I stayed on. Then he and that.
Yeah.
Recruit.
Waking up.
Can just about hear it. So
I put a little.
Yeah, it's
well,
done.
let me ask a quick question then, especially to Niels. What was the battles like in training? Because obviously, you guys, especially when it came to the attackers against the defenders, at times, you want to prove to your attackers that you guys are the best defenders. And of course, they want to prove to you that they're the best attackers. So, what was those challenges like in training?
There was good challenges. Tell you the fact too, we used to bruise one another. A story. We was training, and Boley Mean. So Boley Mean was attacking. I think Ty was in goal then. Was attacking the getting close to the 18 box, and he was quick. He was twisting me a bit. So Mean says, "Shit, man, what's wrong with you, man? You scratch up my back and all that." Says, "Hey, man, I'm making sure you didn't get past me. I'm gonna hold you back. You pull it. If you get past me, you should get past any defender." Hey, I believe you.
Man,
I believe you too, man. I believe you. So, but one thing about our training, we test one another. You know, we wanted to see how hard you are, especially Rango. Like you said, the smallest guy there, Ranger will actually hit you.
Mm,
Just what happened, but we had to do it. You know
right.
what I mean? And that's actually made one of us, every player tougher than what they thought they would be when I was there playing. We
Yeah.
actually would challenge one another. Say Sammy, Sammy is a player that is so skillful. It's like a turtle. You know what I mean? He's got that humpback. You cannot get nothing from that guy off his feet. You can't, and he would shield you so good. He was one of the best shielders out there. You know what I mean? And he would, we call him helicopters now. He would put out his elbows, man, and he would jab you here. He's making sure you ain't get nothing. You ain't get nothing. You know what I mean? And that's just how our training was. We actually hit one another, not
Right.
to injure one another, but we any 50-50s, we do not ease out. We
Right.
go. You know what I mean? And that's like Dennis said, I guess that what actually made us hard.
Right. And Buller, for you, let me ask you, with all that speed up front, what was the way how you guys were able to like close in the gap to help support? Because when the
Yeah.
ball's not long, those guys should take off. Sometimes it'd be like, yeah, do by you three, go ahead, do your thing.
Right.
Well,
Again,
yeah. Well, for
like
me,
tell
for
him.
me, I know I learned early. Them guys had speed, so I'm gonna use that to my advantage.
Uh,
Okay, I couldn't improve, right? But I very rarely played in the midfield. I was always being the fourth person in attack.
mm,
That's what caused a lot of teams problems. So it weren't no problem because, like I said, if you can move fast, move early. So I
mm,
used to
mm.
always be on my way long time before the ball got up there. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So,
that is we used to call that cheating.
Yeah,
well, hey,
yeah, boy, smart, boy, smart.
yeah,
Well, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. But hey, is there any cheating when you don't when you
Get
don't
back.
accomplish the task?
Right, right,
You know what I
true,
mean?
true, true,
But when
true.
you put them in the back of the net, they don't call that cheating.
They call
Yeah.
it a smart player.
Yeah,
Let's
yeah.
take another quick commercial break. When we come back, Dennis, you can ask your next question.
Okay.
In preparation for the island's first Youth Climate Summit, the Bermuda Underwater Exploration Institute has partnered with CITV to screen Youth Unstoppable, the only feature documentary to cover the rise of the youth climate movement from the youth perspective. Now the most important voice in the climate debate. The movie will be followed by a live chat with the director, herself a youth activist. Bermuda is the only country in the world premiering Youth Unstoppable on television as part of its global launch. Tune in to CITV this Saturday at 7 p.m.
My inspiration to write this book has to do with empowering. I want people to understand what it looks like when you are in a position when you don't have the tools around you. If you know me or don't know me, the game, the beautiful game of football, soccer, is and always was a way out. Still fearful on what to do, what would happen if I say something.
What can we do in this book to incorporate tools to help specifically our group of young people in Bermuda?
Could you imagine doing a read with little people and breaking everything down for them and having them to have a voice and having conversation pieces, if it's chapter by chapter?
Welcome back, Dennis.
Yes. So you guys are pretty successful. I would say between Somerset and PHE between 1981 and 1985, we were league champions. Um, what did you? How did you guys think when they told you guys you were going to be entering into the CONCACAF Champions League? How did you guys feel about that?
Yeah, B.
Oh, well, I didn't know too much about it at the time, but I look forward to the challenge. You know what I mean? You know that old saying, you get the best out of someone who challenges.
Mm,
So it's something that I look forward to, and I'm with great anticipation. It was some good memories that you guys had, and we achieved a lot. You know what I mean? So I have no regrets about entering that, because at that stage, you felt like you were a professional player, or you were doing was eat, sleep, football, train, get up, and that's exactly what I wanted to do all my life. So
Mm.
it was something that was very welcome, and I enjoyed it totally. And if I could, I would do it again, but I don't think that's gonna happen.
And Nails,
Yeah.
what was the difference between local strikers and then coming up against strikers that you didn't even know
Well,
in the CONCACAF? What was that like?
well, tell you the fact, truth, D man. Um, we are human. Put it that way. And we don't take nobody for granted. You know, if you do your job, it becomes easy. You just do anything or everything the best of your ability. Um, our strikers, at home, the difference between them out there, those guys, the more um, team players, meaning that they will do a lot of run off the ball, and they have you running all over the place. They have you running in a hole that if you follow them, we call it ball watching. If you follow them, that ball is not going to go there. So they're pulling you out of a hole where the other players coming into. So you really have to be smart about it. Like I said earlier about how good Neil Toulouse was as a coach, a technical coach. He has you in a zone, and that's what you mark, that zone. So if anybody's in that zone, that's who you deal with. And playing against the foreign strikers, that's what they try to do. They try to move you out of your zone
Mm.
so they can get their fellow players to come inside that zone and strike on goal. You know, that's what I saw the difference in them. But I remember when the guys played Honduras. Honduras, sorry, I'm lying. Costa Rica. Um, this guy had told me, the coach had told me that he's seen the best center back that he has seen against his striker. Now, I don't know if his striker was an international player, maybe he was, but I didn't give this guy nothing. You hear me? I mean, absolutely nothing. Once we beat Costa Rica, that's when we actually went into the finals, but we never played it. But that made me feel good, saying, shucks, man, I'm really doing a good job.
Mm.
You know what I mean? And but the thing about it, I was injured then, but now I couldn't let Dombrowski know. I wanted to go away. You know what I mean? I was actually injured because the guys we played a we call it a yard kick. This is the rules. It was a summer kick. We played like the lower heels against the Brandon Schroed and flex players, and then we got the shed. So I actually got injured, ankle injury, but I never said nothing. But for me, for playing injured, but I have to take that out of my mind because I don't know if Brian could remember or even Jack remember, or even one of my players could remember. We had a ball was out on the line and it's Chucky, man. This guy beat, I think it was either Chucky or Brendel, well, Kenny Brett's brother. And this ball went down the line and I went out of my zone. And I knew if I couldn't get this ball was gonna come back into my zone and could have been a goal and Niels would have gave me the lip. Right? So I look, man, I kicked the ball. It was a 50-50. This boy spun me, man. I mean, actually spun me, fell on the ground. And after that was halftime. I got in the halftime, man. My ankle was killing me, but I couldn't say what happened. Cal wrapped me, put ice on it, man. I was actually in tears, you know. But I'm not playing the whole game with I don't know if it was my ankle was either broken or fractured. But but I couldn't say nothing. But that's the difference I would say out there between the foreign strikers.
Hey, Buller, this picture here, right? Your boy looks any older today?
He still looks the same.
Still looks the same.
Unreal.
Hey, and I have that one too, you know.
Unreal.
That's my
That's
boy
different,
Crawford,
huh?
man. He's a good man, man. That's my boy Crawford. Yeah, but I tell you, we have some good strikers here, man. Trust me, we guys have some good strikers here. But the only thing we have to do is believe in ourselves and believe in whatever our coach says, man. That's all it is, you know. Believe will go a long way, man.
Yeah.
You know, it's just like what Brian said. He didn't know what to expect,
Right.
but he wanted to go, so he believed to himself, says, "Yeah, this is a challenge to see where I am." And once everybody thought the same way, hey man, we came on top.
Right.
You know, we was beating teams was just unbelievable, and then turn around, coming back home, probably just about had 2 weeks break, and then the
Yeah.
league would start again, and we was fit as ever. I mean, fit as ever. Nobody just couldn't touch us then. Not even what does it say, wicked.
Yes, sir.
Not even wicked couldn't touch us then.
You remember Church has been 3 years undefeated in the league? You remember that?
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
That was before our time, man.
No,
Yeah.
no.
That was-
1981 to 84. We won the league 3 years in a row.
I tell you, he was 14 then.
No, as a captain, 3 years in a row. But,
You guys sure did.
But one thing I remember, man, going to one of those games at PHN, this man Buller had the Jerry curl. I'll never forget that.
Yeah.
Buller had the Jerry curl there in the CONCACAF games, but the atmosphere, man, down PHC Stadium, the atmosphere seemed like the whole Bermuda was out to watch you guys.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that atmosphere was unreal, man, unbelievable.
Hey, you know something? Having the island or having the spectators out there during that CONCACAF at night.
Yeah.
It was a lift to us. I mean, we actually needed it because that made us perform better.
Yeah.
The roaring, I mean, you felt it going through you, man. You know what I mean? And we couldn't mess up because again, we didn't want to get substituted because dealing with a coach like Niels Lewis and then his assistant coach Alfie Sweet Life. Hey, these guys they're serious, man. You know what I mean? If Sweet Life would whisper something to Niels and saying, "Hey, Douglas is not pulling his weight today," you know, and Niels was saying, "Yeah, well, we will put somebody in, I don't know, Pepe or we could put somebody in."
Right.
But you really had to pull your weight. So coming to the spectators, hey, thank you, D. I mean, I didn't hear you, but hey, man, I had more of the girls, really.
Yeah, that's you. That's definitely you.
You know what I mean? But yeah, man, and hey, it really helped us. It really helped us. You know what I mean? I mean, we can't see ourselves, but to feel that type of atmosphere and that vibration on that field, because I mean, it was only 5 feet away from the touchline. Probably even closer than that. Yeah,
6 and 7 deep. That is that night, especially down in the corner.
Oh wow!
You know, it was something, man.
Yeah, that was
really something.
And that's probably a regret, that Somerset never, entered the team in that competition, because I'm sure you guys really enjoyed, playing home and abroad, and that's something that you'll never forget.
Never.
Because Buller and I actually came through like the youth sports, like playing for Coach Trot. Buller was special right from the beginning. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We played with Coach Trot. We got to the second stage of the tournament in DC, and they played it with those Americans cheated us. You know what I mean? But Bullard, Kenny Burt, and Robert Goodshaw, and
Yeah.
Andrew Bascombs, and we had a good little youth team. And back then, if you guys remember, we were actually beating teams like America, um,
Mm.
Yeah.
all the Caribbean teams back then. You
Yeah,
know what I mean?
sure
So,
was.
we were at a good level. So Bullard, tell me some of your most memorable games, not just in the CONCACAF tournament, but also in Bermuda when you were playing for PHC.
Now, I think, oh, this one here was, I think it was against Vesco down at PAC Stadium, we going towards Hayward. And the pre-team talk with Nibs was for Frankie Meade to go down on the left, right? Because Dasher was playing for Vesco.
Right.
So the strategy was for Frankie to go down the left, cut the ball back on his right, and drop the ball over short man Dasher's head. And for me to run on to him. And out of the three, I scored two
Okay.
against George O'Brien, right? So God bless his soul. So every time I saw him, George O'Brien said, "Hey, remember this Bill said that again?" but that was local. But a couple of days that stands out when the CONCACAF was one, Nails and Sammy fighting in the hotel. He didn't tell you about that one, did he?
Oh, yeah,
No,
yeah.
no.
We don't have about that.
He didn't
Yeah.
tell you about that one.
Hey, see that's my roommate. That other fella that can't get on the air. Him. He was that boy is a nuisance, but
He was.
that boy was a nuisance. An
Oh,
instigator.
yes.
But anyway, we
Yeah.
was in Honduras, and Jack and I was roommates. And this particular time, we guys got up early, and Jack, I was still in my bed. So Jack, Lord knows where he went to. I don't know where he went to. So Gremlin comes. Dude, the door going well, knocked on my door, wake me up, I'm making all this noise. No, he woke me up. No. What? So I come out. I said, I did. So then we start scuffling, knocking one and all off against the petition. Didn't know it was petition then. We thought it was stone wall. We thought it was a stone or brick wall and all that there. Scuffling and all that there. Then we just stopped. Then we went training. Well,
It's leaving out a lot of stuff right now.
in the morning, and yeah,
Yeah,
in the morning. Went training and came back. That was it.
No, we had, I think it was a game. I think the game was the next day or something.
Yeah, we went training.
They wanted us to leave the hotel because Nails and Sammy had put a hole in the petition. so they asked us to leave the hotel, right? So Butch agreed with it, but Neil
Yeah.
said no, right? Neil said, no, we got a game. We don't need to be moving all over the place at this point. We have a game, so our financier took care of the bill. I ain't gonna call his name, but he just peeled off a few of them for the, and we was able to stay at the hotel. But another thing with the CONCACAF is the way foreign teams manipulate situations. Whereas, let's say we had a game tomorrow night, right? So the team's out, walking about, seeing what they can see because we have a game tomorrow night. They call the hotel and say, oh, the game's this afternoon after what walked all over the place against Costa Rica. I think it was Costa Rica. We're going walking all over the place.
Yeah, it was Costa Rica.
Yeah, and we see the roving reporter, Dexter Smith, coming out of this place and that place. But again, after walking all about, we didn't have the legs for Costa Rica. And they was just running off, like Neil said earlier, running off the ball and, from us being on our legs through the day, walking about. But that's the type of strategy some foreign teams use.
Yeah, that's what they do, yeah.
Yeah, to get the advantage. So that was some of the memories.
And us
Oh,
as good guys, we what I mean by us, Bermuda, and we always did say it, man. Bermuda. When we
Too
go away,
nice. We're too nice.
they always treat us rough, man.
We're too nice.
even
Yeah,
when
we
we come
guys are
here,
too nice, man. And when
even
we
when
go
we
up there,
came here.
hey, man, they treat us bad, man. Um, um, yes, we have a menu or a sheet or whatever. You tick what you want. You're not getting that. You know what I mean? You're getting what Duck can feed you. But when we come here, we're gonna put these guys up. Sometimes the princess, and we're gonna let them train at the stadium. You the train at the stadium?
Yep, that's it.
You guys are training in a car pastor, manure and all that stuff, man. But
Yep.
that's just how it was. I guess that's
how
what
it
made
is.
us what we are now today, man.
Mm.
Hey,
You know
Dennis,
what I mean? We have to accept it.
That's it. Yes,
You know?
roommate.
Yes, roommate. That's the nuisance
ask
right there.
Niels who took the penalties for 3 years for PAC.
What's that?
Ask Niels who took the penalties for 3 years for
Well,
PAC.
you could tell me. You could tell us.
Huh?
You could tell us.
Yeah,
You?
it was me.
I can't remember that.
What was that there?
Them guys,
Scientists?
yeah. Penalties.
Yeah.
Them
Oh
guys,
yes.
Yeah, they didn't have the confidence to step up.
Ah.
And I said to myself, that's just from 12 yards. So if I'm hitting them from 20, 24 yards out, 12 yards ain't nothing.
Well, yeah.
Exactly.
So then after a few years, Sammy got up confidence to take the penalties. Then he said, let me take them. So I said, go ahead.
Yeah, we went through almost the team really. Gave
Well,
guys
you had to practice.
penalties.
You had to practice.
Yeah. Once you miss, that's it,
Yeah,
Don't miss.
when you had the penalty shootouts, right? The majority of the time, it was a different person competing against me. I can recall the last time it was I think it was Clevie Red. Yeah, we was in a penalty shootout.
Was Red?
Yeah, we were the last two, if I remember correctly. But I ended up beating them.
Yeah. You guys, it was good, man.
Yeah, one thing I admire about you guys is even when you travel to games, like you were always together, like in cars, like and air life when I used to work with him in the prison, and he used to always say like the defenders with us, the defenders traveling, girlfriends would have to meet you after the game and stuff like that. One of the things
Yeah.
that I liked about you guys was that that togetherness, like you know what I mean, on and off. You feel like you said,
Yeah, it was harmony.
Mm. Mm.
And
So Nails, what would you consider because I don't think you had your time in answering Dennis's question. What the games that stood out for you, both locally and in the CONCACAF tournament?
locally, I had so many, man. So many good ones to tell the fact truth. Oh man. I can't even say what I would say. I would say it's not actually a team, but I would say a cup.
Mm.
The league is played through Christmas. And the league, it's isn't it every 3 days or every 4 days you play?
Pretty much,
It
yeah,
was a
something
lot
like
of football, a lot of
that.
football.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
In a 2 week period, you play quite a bit of football.
It was a lot
Yeah,
of football.
and I like that. You know what I mean? I was self-employed then. I used to do
Mm.
excavating then, had my own machinery, trucks, and so on. And I was geared up for it. You know what I mean? And that really, really made me happy. Put it that way, because I like keeping busy. You know what I mean? Regular league play. I never really had a certain team that I really admired to play against, really. But the truth is, the league was really a very exciting thing for me. You know, two foreign. It was three. It was Greek America. That was our second year. Honduras, and again Costa Rica. You know, Honduras, we guys had battled. That's when young man Ty Williams, you know, he was in good.
Mm.
Anyway, those girls back in the girl there talking a lot of ignorance, brisk with some stuff in him in his ear. Oh man, when he told us that, we couldn't believe it. but we had to concentrate on what we was doing. But Ty told us what they were saying was unbelievable. But anyway, what I mean is that Honduras, they were so eager, and also they were together, and they always said to themselves that they can beat us. You guys beat us by a lot. You
Mm.
know, when we came home, we are not beating them again. They still turn around and said the same thing. And that was battles. I mean, but we guys beat those guys. It was 3-1 Buller
I'm not sure.
back at home. I think we beat them 1-0 out there, I think it was.
Yeah.
Now
Yeah.
Costa Rica. Costa
Mm.
Rica was I mean a tough game because like what Brian said, we guys are out there relaxing in the morning, whatever, right? Then next minute you look, those guys had to gather hurl of us and started the game being in the afternoon. The game is played around lunchtime in the heat, you know, thinking that we're not actually used to 100 degrees, but back at home, our humidity, you might as well say, is 100 degrees anyway.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we actually performed, even though we were almost spaghetti legs or spaghetti legs. We
Mm.
actually still performed. And it was a battle, man. I mean, a battle. I think it was a 1-0, really. Those guys had us. They had not
Mm.
beaten us 1-0. And it was a battle, man. I mean, actually, it was a battle. But when they came home, you guys had not beaten them. I think it was 2-0. They had not beaten them.
Yeah.
And
You know, I mean, it was a battle, and that's what really stood out for me. It was those games. Now, Greek America, we beat those guys 1-0 out there, just 1-0, and those guys they was together, man. I mean, Linja, the girl Linja got Kenny Burke. Oh
Yeah.
my God! Oh, wasn't this thing about 28 yards or something? Buller man,
what's that?
that Kenny got against Greek America.
Oh, 20 yards, you said?
I thought it was more than that. This guy, I don't know. He probably, but Ninja's tricky. Ninja
Mm.
always has his eyes out on a goalkeeper. But when he's got the ball, he knows where the goal is, and he knows where the goalkeeper is. I swear down, I think he caught this goalkeeper out. He was napping. And when this boy kicked this ball and just looped over his head, keeper was scrambling. It was 1-0 there, mate.
I remember he got
Boy,
one like that. He got one like that against Southampton Rangers when you guys
hey,
beat them
he,
5-4.
hey,
Half a line.
Ninja is dangerous, but he trust me, he's some striker. I'm gonna tell you,
It's
good
very,
guy, man.
it's very
Good guy.
dangerous, but he never gave me a goal the whole time we was playing together. Not one goal.
Sounds like Buffalo Bell, baby.
But I'm gonna say I'm not running from the halfway line and give you a chance. I'm sorry.
I'll tell you, that's like Bumler.
Yeah.
But on Kenny, man, Kenny was probably, and I said it when I retired, not when I was playing, because I came through with Kenny like from primary school. I got to know Kenny. I went West End, Kenny went Paget Primary, and then Kenny went Whitney, I went Warwick Sack. And it was always battles like all the way through. Kenny was in that same youth squad that Bolo and I am, but Kenny, man, Kenny was for not a big guy, but Kenny knew how to use his body to perfection. Like
Mm.
he was good in the air, he was excellent on the floor. He had one of the things I also liked about PhD strikers, Kenny, Kevin, and Sammy was the communication. Like they had excellent movement off the ball, man. And if you didn't pay attention to those guys, man, you were in trouble. And there you got Buller coming from deep, like you
Mm.
said, adding to the attack, and Frankie making those wide Ryan runs, and Rango coming from deep. You know what I mean? It was always a challenge. And one
Mm.
of the things I saw Eddie Durlin had something on her to
Yeah.
say that the strike force inspired the young guys coming through there, which I think was totally correct because
Yeah.
you know
Yeah,
you guys did things the right way. You know,
Yeah.
you weren't like North Village who play in small areas. You guys play
Yeah.
to your strengths. You know what I mean? And
That is correct.
and
And we did.
one guy who we haven't talked about tonight is Mike Deal, right? Because
Yeah.
Mike Deal, you know, wasn't flashy and all that, but Mike Deal was a defender who you could rely on 99.9% of the time to do the job, and that combination with Mike and Nails was, you know, was second to only Somerset center backs. You know what I mean? But, hey, but
Had a
you know,
slide on here.
oh, I had to get that here. I had to get that here. But those two guys playing together, man. Those two guys were, you know, no nonsense. They had Sinclair, they had Air Lightman, you know what I
Yeah.
mean, and then Mark Wade came through, and Randolph Burt. You know what I mean? So it's
Yeah.
always guys coming through the pipeline. But you know, Mike and
Like I said about what Neil done. Neil's again, he made us deal with zones. You know what I mean? And we knew our zones. We knew our job. Put it that way. And Mike and I, again, we knew one another.
right.
You know what I mean? Um, um, we knew where we should be and where we shouldn't be. And plus, it's the communication. Mike is always talking.
Right.
Ty Williams is always talking.
Yeah.
Now he's the last man. He sees everything. So he tells Mike, Mike tells me, and it goes up the line. Tell Bullock, tell Frankie, Bullock, Frankie tells Rango, and just keeps going on all the way through. So Mike, he makes his job easy because number one, he uses his strength. And again, it zones. That's what makes the game easy, man. It zones. I mean, I swear on Dennis, you guys again. I think you guys they probably said, "How come you guys don't mark man on man?" We always did our zones, man, and you know, Mike was always coming from the just say the back post to the penalty spot, and I'll do from the penalty to the front post, and goes on from there, right? And that's how we defend. So just like remember Courage Bow once, I think Danny, you had mentioned it when we guys was talking that Courage beat Mike. Mike got back up off the floor and came right back around. I'm here again. I mean, you got to beat me at this time, and it never happened. You know, so Mike was so agile and strong because here's another man. Mike works out, you know. Mike works out on. He does his homework. Mike actually starts the game. From talking to Mike and from playing to Mike, man, I learned a lot with Mike. You know, he actually made my job easy because he will tell you when a man is on your left or right. And you just, like I said, you just got to listen to your fellow players and just listen to your coach also, man. And they will guide you the right way. But hey, that's how I still got to be today, the same thing. But I bless my brother, man. He's a good man. Good man.
I think Mike, offensively, Mike was more aggressive. No, defensively, he was more aggressive than offensively. Like he could have scored a lot of goals offensively if he was as aggressive defensively.
Right.
You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
and his game weren't a possession type of game.
Yeah, he just played to his strengths, man.
But I swear he used to give guys a lead.
Just to show his speed, right?
For real.
Just to show his speed.
The guy was quick there.
Run down. I think that's
And they'll run beside you for 2 strides. And
Yeah,
tell you, check later.
Hey, look, and one day I can recall when we guys used to train. Dennis, remember how when you have the pitch and you used to put 2 or 3 players on each corner and have, and they had to run? Guess what Neil's done?
Neil's put you as Mike?
And Mike. So, look, I'm trying my best, right? The guy's just trotting. I'm all up and he's just trotting. I been sat on the bench, man. I couldn't
Mike,
win
Mike
that
was
race.
quick. Mike was quick, man.
I couldn't win that race.
Yeah, he was.
I actually scored one of my best goals against PHC out B8.
Mm.
One night, going towards the club end, and I always remember PHC playing an offside trap. So I'm dribbling.
Yeah.
I'm dribbling through in the middle of the park, and I see Mike and Nails and the defense pushing out. So what I did was hit the ball over the defense and kept running.
Mm.
And Mike Deal wasn't catching me that night. And I hit the ball over the defense, kept running, let run, and pass the ball around Crocky goal. That was probably one of my best goals ever scored. You know what I mean in the Premier Division. But when Nails talked about the zone, Neobs actually came. I think it was Pepe or Roddy was the national team coach then. But
Yeah.
they invited Neobs to a training session where we are working on defending corners, and that's where I learned that PHC zone defend on corners and free kicks and all that. Like Neil
Always
said,
did. Yeah.
you attack the things that are in front of you. You don't
Exactly.
back up. You don't back up.
You don't back up.
And that stayed with me, from I was about 18 then, and Neils was the kid. And Niels was before his time, man.
Mm.
He used to tell me, yeah, man, when he take you out of the middle, once you come out of the middle, we're putting that ball right back where you came from. You know what I mean? But that's how he was. He started players. He started players. The guy was special.
The guy was smart, man.
Yeah.
He can see things way ahead.
Yeah, exactly.
And it was good. Like, you just have to trust the guy.
Yeah.
And that's just what we done.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you don't do what he tell you to do, well, you ain't playing.
Come sit down. Come sit down. It could be the first minute or the last minute. Come sit down.
That's it.
We used to do the same thing with what's the name? Donovan Livingston.
Yeah.
Yes.
He was the strength in the middle.
Yes.
So we used to tell Sammy take him because he used to. I guess his job was to mark Sammy.
Right.
It was. Yes, it was.
Neil just say, look, just take Livingston out of the middle.
Yeah.
And then the rest of us could go on and do our thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that was one strategy we used to use as well. Yeah.
Any final question, Dennis?
Yeah. So I want both of you guys to answer this question truthfully. What's the difference between football in our era and football today? What's the difference?
Commitment, sacrifice, and hard work. That's the difference.
Yeah.
Our playing days and now, because I don't see no guys out there doing the extras. You know what I mean? Going down the beach, running by themselves, going on the road, and all of that. I ain't seen that. If any, it's probably one person I've seen, but on a hill. Because I can recall among Neil used to say the guys from Cedar Hill, because there was two groups of guys from Cedar Hill and guys from Woodridge. And the guys used to, if we weren't riding to training on our push bikes or whatever, we was running. You know what I mean? And then after the training session, we used to run in with the tracks. But I think that's the difference, man. I'm sacrificing, hard work, and I'm just putting you all into it, man. And before you go to Nails on this question, and I'm going back to the question you put to Nails about defenders playing against attackers. He didn't say that the attackers used to beat them all the time.
That did happen up something.
See, you always got to make sure you have your strikers feel good. You got to keep them high, because if you keep your strikers down or low, they
You couldn't do nothing
they're
to
not
the
they're not
strikers anyway.
being
You couldn't stop the strikers anyway.
no
That
well
that was a strike force, but
because the plan was is that Mike says you gotta allow them give him one, at least give him one. You know what I mean? Because they'll
they
lose
lose their confidence.
they'll lose the confidence after. You know what I mean? But yeah, but I don't watch football today. I can't even say when the last time I actually watched a local game. Um, from from what my son tells me, or from what I'm hearing, it's the difference is that again, there's no harmony, there's no togetherness. Guys are not true to themselves. There's no team play. Everybody's out there doing individual stuff. They're on their own. They're not playing for their team. They're playing for the person on the sideline. So that means that they're not together. Now, back in the 80s or the 90s, or back in our days, we were together. Again, we had zones, we had groups. After a game, we'll sit around, we'll talk, not about training, not about football, but we'll talk
Talk about what?
anything. We'll just sit there and just talk, man. If
It's a
somebody has
Marty comment, Dennis.
well, yeah, we'll just talk. You know
Talk
what I
about the
mean?
short skirts in the crowd and all that. Yeah.
No, no, that too, if you saw it. That's if you saw it. But we'll just talk.
Yes,
You know,
yes, yes.
uh, um, remember their training again, like Brian said. We guys used to battle. You know what I mean? We made one another who we are today. We didn't make ourselves that way. We made ourselves together because we challenge one another. And we don't see that with our young ones. Again, I'll get back to the young ones again by saying that they don't hang around with one another. They go their separate ways with the buddies.
Mm.
Um, that's what's missing. You know what I mean? That's what's missing. My son, I remember my son when he told me that, "Look, Daddy, I'm going to uh, play for the first team." So the first thing I told my son is that find out how your teammates play, meaning that you sit after game and just talk, man. That's all you got to do. Anything, just communication is the key today, man. And to me, there's no communication out there, just from what I'm hearing
Mm.
with the young players today. You know what I
And
mean?
before
And again, that's probably what they're missing. You know?
and before Earl finishes off, and you ironic that you said about the competitiveness of your training sessions, because we used to train like it was war,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
that intensity takes you right into your weekend games because
Always does. Yeah,
we guys used to knock teeth out. And I
yeah,
remember young Ralph Boris there coming to one of our training sessions. He was about 16 then, and I must have tackled him, put a little knock on him. He said, "Me ease up." I said, "Hey, you want to get in this team, you better
yeah,
toughen up, boy."
yeah.
And,
It's
and
true.
that and that's what it was like. We used to challenge each other, like you said, Stevie
Yeah,
Riley, Bumler, Bernard Derlin, defense against attackers. You know what I
yeah.
mean? But hey, man, and before I go, man, I would just like to tell you guys, like you guys were not just an inspiration to Bermuda and your community, but you are an inspiration to me for what I mean, what you guys brought to the table in the 80s, man. You guys were special. You know what I mean? You had a special group. And you know what I mean. You guys were a great inspiration to me too. Like you know what I mean. And legends in my
Hey,
eyes.
bless,
Beautiful.
bless.
Thank you,
Yeah,
man.
thanks,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
And also thank you, Buller, man. You know,
Yeah.
give me a chance to play with you, brother.
Hey, I appreciate that. Dennis, you guys, before we leave, right? There's Kicks of Stonington up there, right? Your friend Hammer invited me a little while back.
There's
So I
a
thought
Dago
about
in
it.
there.
Huh?
Yeah.
Dago in there.
Yeah. So
Okay.
I thought about it, right? Right, the next morning I woke up, both hamstrings were sore.
And do
Forgot
what you used to.
what that was like, innit?
Leave that alone.
Hey, I said, you better leave that alone.
Leave that alone. Stay with your push bike. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sammy's
Forgot what that was like.
That's it.
Sammy's trying to get me up there, but no, sir, I ain't gonna do it.
That's it.
No.
Yeah, but I enjoyed this little talk, guys.
Yeah, man. It's
Yes.
been a pleasure, man.
Yes, a blessing, man.
Definitely,
Thanks
definitely.
again.
Gentlemen, thank you very, very much. I know the many that have watched have been thoroughly enjoying, listening to you guys take us back in the day and reminiscing about not only yourselves, but your teammates and just your battles. And I know a lot of people relive those things as you say them, because if you were at the game, you'd say, oh, I remember that, and I remember that. But Buller, Dennis don't remember the chest between the chests because he didn't score.
That's
If he'd have
it.
scored,
I was pissed off. I
if he'd
was
have
probably
scored.
pissed off.
Right.
I was probably pissed off. Bolo was special, man. Bolo was special. Man. Bolo,
Definitely.
Bolo
Thank you.
Well, gentlemen, thank you very much, folks.
Thanks, Daryl.
Enjoy your night.
Appreciate it.
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
Wicked.
Yes,
One
brother.
time, bless, man.
So,
All right.
Yeah, cool.